And Dr. Sullivan, we are live streaming right now, so you may start the meeting.
Excellent. Good morning and welcome to the August 2021 meeting of the Lctcs Board of Supervisors. Thank you for joining us today. Before we begin, I'll ask Lctcs Board Coordinator Sarah Landreneau-Kleinpeter to review a few points, given that we are holding a meeting of the board with virtual guests and live streaming to YouTube. Sarah?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. Members of the board and those watching, please know that we are being live streamed online and be mindful of that. Those joining by remote access are asked to keep yourselves on mute during the meeting as much as possible and use the raise hand feature if you have a question or a comment. When recognized to speak and unmuting yourself, give it a few seconds before you make your comments and return to mute to avoid any background noise during the remainder of the meeting. If you have any trouble with your technology at any point, please text me. You may view any of the board items via the links posted on the Lctcs website. We will conduct a roll call vote at the start of the meeting, and each motion will require a roll call vote for approval. Members, please state your name when you make a motion. Motions may be made by sound and not by gesture. Public comments can be made during today's meeting via the open conference call at 877-810-9415, access code 6499147#. That information is in the notice of meetings posted on the Lctcs website, lctcs.edu. Any public comments received during the meeting will be read by the board secretary or a designee. All public comments must include an agenda item number, a name, and a brief statement. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per comment. Mr. Chairman, I turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it very much. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Lctcs Board of Supervisors, and today is August 11th, 2021, and we are scattered all over the state once again. Stan Slaith, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please, sir? Need to unmute.
Yes, I will, and if everyone would rise, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Would like to take a moment to introduce our newly appointed member, Supervisor Dana Peterson of New Orleans. Mr. Peterson joins the board as a representative of the 2nd Congressional District and resides in New Orleans. He is the principal of College Hills Strategy Group, LLC. He believes creating pathways to higher education and technical college is vital to creating economic opportunity and equity. Mr. Peterson was so recently appointed that we have not had a chance to swear him in, but we would like to welcome him as a guest to this meeting. Welcome to the board, Mr. Peterson. You are certainly invited at this point to give remarks if you'd like.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say to fellow members and to the public, I look forward to to joining the board and working with you all and colleagues to, as you said, create more opportunities for our residents and citizens to blossom and grow through higher ed. So look forward to digging in with you guys.
Good deal. Thank you, sir. Glad to have you. Would like to also point out Mr. Josh Kuvion is from CLTCC, and he has not been sworn in at this time either, but he's also going to join the meeting. Josh, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, sir. Like I said, good morning, everyone. My name is Josh Kuvion from CLTCC. I'm super excited to join you guys on this journey in higher ed. Like I just said earlier before everyone joined on, hopefully the next meeting we can all be in person and we can get down to the nitty-gritty with everyone. So I'm excited to be here.
Good deal. Thank you, sir. Glad to have you with us. Sarah, would you conduct a roll call, please, ma'am?
Yes, sir. And Mr. Hardy, we are trying to get you on. We're having some technical difficulties right now, but I'll be happy to call the roll. Supervisor Price,
Here.
Supervisor Mount,
Here.
Supervisor Jackson,
Here.
Supervisor Bradford is here. Ms. Bradford, can you give us an audible here? We will go back to her. She may have stepped away for a second. Supervisor Carter.
Here.
Supervisor Roman Hardy is absent. Supervisor Tim Hardy is absent at the time of roll call, but should be joining us momentarily. Supervisor McConduit.
Here.
Supervisor Murphy.
Here.
Ms. Bradford, I see you're back with us.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
Thank you. You were too far away. I know. Can you, Ms. Bradford is here. Supervisor Peterson.
Here.
Supervisor Potts is not with us. Supervisor Salah.
Here.
Supervisor Smith. Supervisor.
Here.
Thank you. Supervisor Spahn is here, and Supervisor Toops is not able to join us. Supervisor Almeida,
Here.
did I say it right? Thank you. Supervisor Kuvion.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we do have a quorum of the board present.
Very good. Thank you, Sarah. As appointed chair's privilege, I ask that the next two items, items E and F, be reviewed in succession and take up one vote on both items once the review concludes. Is there any objection? Please, not all at once. Item E will be the approval of the meeting agenda for today, August 11th. Members, you have received the agenda, and in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 42-17-1, as presiding officer, I have determined that the matters on this agenda are considered critical or time sensitive and should not be delayed. A roll call vote of those in attendance will be taken at the conclusion of the review of items E and F. Item F, which is the approval of the minutes from the June 9th meeting. I request a motion to approve the August 11th, 2021 agenda and the consideration of the matters on it, item E, and to approve the June the 9th, 2021 meeting minutes as presented, which is item F. Is there a motion to that effect?
So
Motion by Ms. Mao and a second by
Jackson.
Mr. Salah. Members, we will have a roll call. To note for the record, Mr. Hardy is with us as anticipated, and so I will include him in this first roll call vote for our meeting. Supervisor Price,
Yes.
Supervisor Mount,
Yes.
Supervisor Jackson,
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford,
Yes.
Supervisor Carter,
Yes.
Supervisor Tim Hardy,
Yes.
Supervisor McConduit,
Yes.
Supervisor Murphy,
Yes.
Supervisor Peterson,
Yes.
Supervisor Salah,
Yes.
Supervisor Smith,
Yes.
Supervisor Spahn,
Yes.
Supervisor Almeida,
Yes.
Supervisor Kuvion.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to note for the record that the outcome of the vote ensured that a minimum of 2/3 of those present voted affirmatively to adopt the agenda and consider the items on it.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. Coming to item G now, which is G1, which is the chair of the board report. Got a couple of things I need to remind you of. I'd like to remind you of the Board of Regents Title IX virtual training on August the 17th. If you have not registered, contact Sarah and she will help you through that process. But also like to remind everyone of Delgado's ribbon cutting on Monday, August 16th at 10 a.m. Also, please RSVP with Sarah. The only other item is, last month we were fortunate to be able to kind of have a hybrid meeting and some of us get together and we kind of thought we were past all this thing. That was back in June. I apologize. But it looks like things have changed. So we're back to where we were. Hopefully this won't last long, and we will again at some point be able to gather back up like we did back in the good old days. So hopefully we can get to that point sooner than later. And I believe that will conclude my report. Dr. Sullivan.
Chairman, those from your lips to my ears, I hope that becomes fact sooner rather than later. This is something that I think all of us look forward to, is getting together for these board meetings and having a chance to catch up with you individually and as a group, and talk about how things are going for each of you individually. I think it's a bit of a disappointment, but certainly something we're going to work our way through and get to a better place. I want to personally welcome Mr. Peterson to the Board of Supervisors. Excited to have you. Know that you will make great contributions, and enjoyed spending some time talking with you earlier about your work in education, and look forward to ways that we can tie that work together with what's going on within our colleges here. And certainly, Josh, great to see you. Great to have you with us for the board meeting, and look forward to having both of you sworn in within the next few days here. I'd like to begin with a note, and Mr. Chairman, you included this as a part of your chair's report, and that is a reference to the Board of Regents Title IX training that is upcoming, that is required for all members of the board. I want to turn to Amber Blair, who has just been an incredible resource throughout this work. I think if you ask the folks at the Board of Regents, who just yesterday passed a policy on power-based violence, they would tell you that the rock star of that effort has been Amber Blair, really driving the development of the policy, the training, the implementation. Obviously, our universities are different than our two-year colleges. Just the very fundamental issue of residential versus non-residential becomes a big differentiating factor. I want to turn to Amber and just ask her to walk the board through in a brief form, kind of where we've been in this effort, where we are policy-wise now. I do anticipate that within the next couple of months, we will be coming back to you with similar kinds of policy as to what we saw the Board of Regents pass yesterday, so that we can have that in place by the December timeframe, which then puts in place a number of items from this past legislative session. So with that, Amber, let me turn to you and ask for a quick update to the board.
Thank you. And thank you for your kind comments. I appreciate that. I appreciate the opportunity to do this work. Good morning to the members of the board and Mr. Chair. I am proud to say that that LCTCS's work on Title IX did not begin with all of the issues that our sister institutions, sister systems have had. Our work began many years ago. And so our work has not been that difficult in this space to maintain the level and quality of work that we've been able to do in terms of pushing out policies that are equitable and clear and meet the needs of our students, faculty, and staff. So over the last 5 years, we have worked through the Dear Colleague letters from 2015, 2011, 2017, the rescindents of the guidance from the Trump administration, the commitment of the Biden administration to look at the regulations as they stand now, and also adopting, of course, practices that are now required in state law from the legislative session. So privileged to have served on the committees that developed the uniform policy with the Board of Regents. It was truly a team effort with all of the systems from a variety of stakeholders. So I'm very proud of the document. It's not without some conflict and complication, which we can talk about as we get into the policies in the next couple of months. But we are standing right now on a draft of a uniform policy that was adopted yesterday. And today I'm working on building that out as a system policy, which will be ready in the next couple of days. And then we will work with our institutions to follow suit. We need to have all of our policies ready to go by October 15th and to the Board of Regents by December the 15th. So we are in a good position to do that. The policy that we wrote in 2020, as you will recall, is a good document. It is requiring little effort to amend it to be compliant. The main changes you're going to see in the next couple of months are really to incorporate the new state legislation requirements and to adopt the uniform language that this policy seeks to make consistent. So that really is where we stand now. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to serve in this way.
Good. Any questions for Amber? All right, I will just add one quick item. Because of the nature of our campuses and the fact that we're dispersed across the state of Louisiana, we will have to conduct a number of training opportunities for our employees out there so that we understand the processes, that we have the infrastructure, the human infrastructure, if you will, to be able to conduct these reviews. It is not like many of our university partners where they have all of those individuals on one campus in one location. So we will be doing that work over the months and weeks ahead. So one final shot. Any questions for Dr. Blair? Thank you so much for all of your work. Appreciate it. If we can, I'd like to turn to Quentin Taylor for an announcement. And this is from a partner that has just been, I don't know any other way to say it other than just extraordinary. Our friends at Healthy Blue have been with us now for several years, and at every turn are there to ask the question, how do we help? And this is not a partner that comes in and writes a check and walks away. This is a partner that comes in and rolls up their sleeves with us, asks the question, how do we advance the state of Louisiana? I could not be more proud of the work that is going on with Healthy Blue. Kathy, certainly good to have you back with the board. And Valentine, I cannot wait to have an opportunity to sit down and spend some time with you to better understand your background and all the great work going on at Healthy Blue. So with that, I'm going to turn to Quentin Taylor.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Sullivan, members of the board, Chairman Price. As Dr. Sullivan noted, we're here today to talk about yet another generous gift from our partners and friends over at Healthy Blue, Louisiana. I'm not going to steal any of their thunder. I'm going to go right in and I'll turn it over to Ms. Kathy Victorian, and she will make the announcement along with Dr. Valentine Thiard.
Thank you so much. And it's an honor to be with you, Dr. Sullivan and Quentin and the entire board. Again, I must give kudos to two young ladies that are on your board who have been truly inspirational in my life, and that is Ms. Tara Bradford and Erica McConduit. So it's good to see both of you all again, and it's good to be with the LCTCS board. We have been doing a lot of goodness with Louisiana Community Technical College, and it goes back a little ways. And we have a new CEO who is at the helm of Healthy Blue, and she is Dr. Valentine Thiard. A New Orleans native, she received her medical degree from Louisiana State University School of Medicine, completed her residency at Tulane University, specializing in pediatrics and internal medicine, and she completed her MBA at the University of Chicago Booth School of Business. So her qualifications are one thing, but the one thing that impressed me so much about Dr. Valentine is her heart. Dr. Sullivan, she's a lot like you. It does not matter what your title is. She wants to get into the community, roll up her sleeve, and be a part of the goodness that we have been doing throughout the state since our inception of 2012. We are a managed care organization, and we offer Medicaid, Medicaid expansion, and children's health insurance throughout the great state of Louisiana. And please, at this moment, welcome with your hearts and with your hands, our beloved leader, fierce leader, my sorority sister, my friend, Dr. Valentine Thiard.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I am honored to be here and appreciate your time for all of the board members. As part of Healthy Blue's longstanding commitment to improving the health of our communities, we are addressing the complex and interconnected factors like education, food, housing, social, and financial circumstances that shape health. We remain committed to addressing these factors as we continue to engage alongside organizations and other partners like LCTCS for direct community action, especially for our local youth. Healthy Blue continues to find innovative ways to expand access to educational and social support for Louisiana's youth. And we are proud to partner with LCTCS to establish a scholarship program to remove financial barriers and allow students to focus on reaching their education and career goals, creating a straight path to success. It's through these programs that we can positively impact our members and local communities. We are grateful to work with LCTCS to deliver on our mission of improving lives and communities, and most importantly, strengthening education enrollment and graduation completion rates among our local youth. In addition, Healthy Blue is proud to have provided nearly $50,000 worth of commercial refrigerators to LCTCS colleges for students and families that may be struggling with food insecurity, as well as $10,000 to support families and area food pantries that support LCTCS colleges. The donated commercial units allow for an increase in food storage capacity and to preserve fresh meat, dairy, and vegetables in order to keep up with the ongoing need and demand for impacted individuals, families in the community. We are grateful to have been able to continue to expand our partnership with LCTCS with $90,000 to continue the Healthy Blue Scholarship Program. And so with this, I'm very grateful and happy to be here with you. I look forward to working with you for a long time to come and really appreciate your time. So thank you, Chairman, and thank you, board members.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate all of the support. And I can tell you that the initial investment that you made in our students proved to be one of the biggest success points that we've had as an organization. These students enrolled, completed, and went to work. That's the magic right there. And it happened because of investments from Healthy Blue. I know that this $90,000 will have a similar impact across the state of Louisiana. So thank you. We look forward to an opportunity to celebrate this investment with you. Let me ask any questions of our friends from Healthy Blue from the board members.
No questions, Dr. Sullivan. This is Erica. I'm sorry, I can't be on video yet. You know, I have providers working on the internet right now, but I will as soon as I can. But Kathy, always great to see you, my friend. Love you. Christy, my goodness. First of all, on behalf of the board, let me say thank you for this incredible investment in LCTCS. Let me personally say congratulations on your new appointment to my Ursuline Academy sister. We went to high school together.
Erica McConduit.
Yes, Christy. Let me also say our two daughters are currently in high school together at Ursuline, and we both have daughters named Phoenix. What are the chances? But it's awesome to see you.
Oh, wow.
You can't see me yet, but hopefully before the meeting is out, you will. But it's wonderful to see you. Congratulations, and thank you so much. So happy to see you in your Healthy Blue and to see this partnership continue to grow. So congrats and thank you for the continued support. And you have a winner in Kathy, my goodness.
Oh, yes, she's priceless, but it's so great to hear from you. And I mean, that's what I love about Louisiana. This is one big, small town.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. All in the family and 0 degrees of separation. And that's the way we like it, right? No doubt. Other comments from members of the board?
Dr. Sullivan, this is Tari Bradford. I just want to thank Kathy for her work, but I want to welcome Dr. Thread here and know that we are here. Healthy Blue is very important as we keep our state healthy. And so anyway, anything we can do to continue the great work and the great progress that you guys do, we're here. And Kathy, keep doing what you're doing. And you don't worry us. Just let us know what we need to do, because a healthy state will be healthy students.
Yep.
That's right.
Thank you.
Very well said. Very well
Dr.
said.
Sullivan, but
Yes,
before
sir.
we move on, I just wanted to get some context to some of the things that you, Kathy, and Dr. Theo have spoken about. About 2 years ago now, Healthy Blue donated those commercial grade refrigerators to 8 different colleges across the state. And to this day, we hear about how appreciative our students are. Students can go to these food pantries, no questions asked, open the refrigerator door and take whatever it is they need to go home and feed their families. We had no idea the impact it would have. We knew pre-COVID that our students were struggling with food insecurities, but COVID has really shed a greater light on it. And Kathy, I gotta tell you, and Dr. Theard, those refrigerators are being more impactful today than I ever thought they would have 2 years removed from that donation. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Second point is on the initial donation for the scholarships. You heard Dr. Sullivan talk about the success of it, but I want to put it in context and put real numbers behind it. We awarded 69 scholarships, approximately 69, 72, somewhere in there. But we have had 65 students who earned that scholarship to graduate. I'm not a math guy, but that's somewhere in the 90% range. But just the sheer success of that scholarship program has been mind-blowing. Can't wait to push out the messaging on the $90,000 that's now available. And we're going to begin to do that in post haste. And again, just wanted to say to Kathy and to Dr. Theard and to the entire Healthy Blue family and the folks at Anthem who actually, green light and approve these sorts of things. We're very appreciative, look forward to what the future holds, and just really excited, and thank you for the partnership.
Very good.
Thank you.
It reminds me, we read the headlines just earlier this week of over 6,000 nursing vacancies in Louisiana. Had a colleague who works here at the board office with us who this morning was searching for a place to have their child tested. A couple of those urgent care facilities are closed, and the note on the door said due to a lack of workforce. So that's the context within which we live today, and one that partners at Healthy Blue are helping us to solve. So we very much appreciate the relationship and the long-term investment, and we certainly look forward to performing with those scholarship dollars in a way that helps everyone. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll turn our attention now to a bit of the professional development work that is going on within our system. Each time we have an opportunity to talk about professional development, I'm reminded of a conversation 8 years ago with Mr. Murphy right here in my office, where he made a strong case that investing in our faculty is an important step for us. And we began that process 8 years ago. One of the key tenets of our professional development efforts has been the Master Teacher Seminar. All of you are familiar with faculty that have been in the classroom 8, 10, 12 years. They have hit a place in their career where they may need a little bit of a recharge. And that's what the Master Teacher Seminar allows for. Faculty from all the disciplines coming together, 26 faculty representing each of the 12 colleges, coming together to spend quality time together with some of the best instructional faculty from around the country to have a chance to work on their craft. It is an incredible event. It is one that I hope somewhere down the line this board will have an opportunity to experience and see for yourselves. To take that faculty member who's been 10, 15 years in the classroom and really recharge them and get them excited again about teaching. It is one of my favorite events. I love to have an opportunity to interact with this group, and just really excited that we are able to continue that professional development opportunity for our faculty. I want to turn, if I can, to a quick enrollment update. A number of you have reached out to me over the last couple of weeks just asking, where are we? You'll recall that in 2020, fall of 2020, we experienced a enrollment decline that was to the tune of about 20%. That was largely a result of the fact that we experienced a COVID spike in the midst of registration for fall 2020 enrollment. Ultimately, throughout the fiscal year this past year, we lost about $20 million in tuition and fees as a result. Unfortunately, we find ourselves today in a place where we are amid the fourth surge, timed almost exactly the same, with school districts out there having to make very difficult decisions. I will recount for you that it was the Jefferson Parish School District that was set last year about the 10th of August to start classes. As a result of the COVID numbers, they chose to step back and move their start date to September, the Tuesday after Labor Day. As a result of that, we saw enrollment evaporate. These are parents who have kids at home who were uncertain about what the future looked like, and they paused their education to make sure that their children were cared for in the midst of an event that very few people understood. So it remains to be seen today exactly what will happen as a result of the current spike that we're seeing in COVID cases. I believe at this point we have seen no school district that has made the full move to a virtual circumstance. And I think that probably at this point would have already happened. We are hopeful that move will not necessarily happen, and certainly hopeful that it doesn't impact the continuing education of our many adult students out there. So at this point, we believe our enrollment will certainly tick toward an improvement over fall 2020. We have a couple of colleges that at this point are back in the realm of their fall 2019 enrollment, which is really, really positive news. I want to give a special shout out to the folks at Louisiana Delta Community College, where Chancellor Esters has indicated to me there's a pretty good chance that college will be up as a comparison of their fall 19 and could very likely get close to the 5,000 student enrollment mark for the fall semester. So excited to see all that is going on there with our enrollment. And also I have to tell you, this is a very different environment from an enrollment point of view than we've ever experienced before prior to 2020. And so when we ask the question, what are we doing to ensure that those students stay with us? The strategies are many. And I want to give credit to the colleges for the innovation that they have brought to bear to both recruit and keep those students on campus. So as we get within the next 2 weeks, we'll be providing an enrollment update to the board via email so that you have a sense of where things stand. But we are watching daily to ensure that we're able to hold on to as many of those students in the fall of 2021 as possible. So any questions on the enrollment front? All right, hearing none, let me jump to a series of college updates for you. I do want to highlight, and many of you may have seen this on social media, but back in the June timeframe, we held the National Skills USA competition, and it was the group from Central Louisiana Technical Community College that had 4 gold medals at the national level. Could not be more proud of that group. Miss Sabrina Hebert from Central Louisiana Technical Community College won the national gold medal in nurse assisting. Evan Jackson, the national gold medal in technical computer applications. Abigail Parham, the national gold medal in job interviewing. And Callie Stroud won the gold medal for practical nursing. Think about that for a second. Thousands of colleges across the state, thousands of students, and it was Central Louisiana Technical Community College that walks away with 4 gold medals. Congratulations to Chancellor Sawtelle, to each of these students, just an incredible accomplishment. Wish we were able to be in person so that we could share our congratulations with those students, and certainly we'll be forwarding those congratulations on to student board members. I'm sorry, to student representatives at Central. At Bossier Parish Community College, as you know, we have seen before that the debate team at Bossier Parish Community College annually competes with 2- and 4-year institutions. Bossier Parish Community College team won their 5th national championship in debate just this past month. Now, this is a group that when they go and debate, they compete among 2-year colleges, but once you get beyond that first initial cycle, win the 2-year college cycle, they then compete against students from universities across the country and in fact around the world. Our students at Bossier Parish Community College are exceptional in this debate competition. It's a lot of fun to watch those students go up against their university colleagues and win. So excited about that. Congratulations to Chancellor Bateman and the team at Bossier Parish Community College. The Bossier Parish Community College Foundation also achieved a significant milestone by surpassing $4 million in endowments. They also, in the last 3 years, 95% of the scholarship recipients have graduated or retained and currently enrolled. I want you to think about the theme that you begin to hear when you hear about investments from Healthy Blue. 90% plus students who receive those awards complete. Again, Bossier Parish Community College, 95% of the students who received awards complete. There is a clear, distinct line between investments made by our business partners in our students and those students succeeding. Keep that in mind. We talk a lot about the donation, but I think it's equally important to talk about the investments that our foundations are then able to make in individuals and their success. So very proud of the work going on there. River Parishes Community College has a long-awaited groundbreaking that will take place with the process educational training PET plant. It will begin construction officially on the 14th day of August, and we're working on a date now for a groundbreaking. For those of you not familiar with the industrial space, that PET plant is one that will simulate the work that goes on within many of the plants up and down the river, and the work environment that many of our students ultimately will have an opportunity to participate in. Thanks to our friends at ISC as well as CSRS, who many of whom are helping us to construct that project. Also want to specifically point out at Louisiana Delta Community College, both a heavy equipment operating program, which is kicking off this fall semester, full enrollment. This came as a result of Senator Womack, who approached us and said, look, we're constantly looking for people to operate this heavy equipment. He was helpful in helping us to identify that equipment to get students into the programs. These are folks that walk away with a certification making 18, 20 bucks an hour with benefits. That doesn't happen in small rural Louisiana very often. We're excited about that effort. Also, I want to point out at both the Tallulah and the Winsboro campuses, we now have the second round of pilots of our LPN to RN program, bridge program, that is delivered online, allowing students to continue to work as an LPN while they gain the RN license. Just an exceptional opportunity for the people in the rural parts of North Louisiana. This follows on a pilot that was completed successfully in Opelousas. We look forward to seeing that bridge process play out in many parts of the state of Louisiana. As we know, again, nurses are in short supply, and it is just a tremendous opportunity for both the individuals, but also for the employers in those regions. Also, for those of you that have had an opportunity to travel and be on the Baton Rouge Community College campus, I want to congratulate Chancellor Willie Smith. As you know, Community College Drive has historically passed right through the center of the Baton Rouge Community College campus. It has presented some health challenges and safety challenges for our students. Chancellor Smith has worked very closely with Mayor Weston Broom here in Baton Rouge and has managed to eliminate that thoroughfare in a way that will create a great deal more safe environment for our students, not having to dodge cars and traffic and the like, and also rerouted the path around campus in a way that allows traffic to continue, but also keeps our students safe. It has been an ongoing project for probably 4 or 5 years, and I know that Chancellor Smith has put a lot of time, energy, and effort into that one. Also want to thank Secretary Sean Wilson for his involvement in this one as well. It has taken a team effort of both local, state, and college officials to get this one done. I want to turn now to Delgado Community College. A couple of congratulatory remarks for our students. The Jack Kent Cook Foundation, if you aren't familiar with that organization, I encourage you to take a look. Jack Kent Cook Foundation, a number of years ago, took an interest in community college students who were pursuing baccalaureate degrees at prestigious universities. They held the belief that students who started at two-year colleges should not be limited to regional universities, but rather have the ability to succeed at some of the finest universities in the country and in the world. Jack Kent Cook Foundation made available multiple scholarships around the country. The very first student to receive a Jack Kent Cook transfer scholarship from the state of Louisiana is from Delgado Community College in the amount of $40,000. Shayna Kay of Delgado is the recipient. She's the only Cook undergraduate transfer scholarship for this year and historically. She intends to complete the baccalaureate degree and will announce her plans for enrollment at a university at a later date. Excited for Shayna Kay. And we look forward to other Jack Kent Cook Foundation scholarships coming down the line as more and more students are aware of this opportunity. Think about that, $40,000 for 2 years. That's a pretty hefty sum and will allow her to attend whatever institution she may choose in this country, no doubt. A second student that we would like to recognize at Delgado, the radiologic technology student, Christian Micah Bourne. has been named the 2021 New Century Workforce Scholar and will receive a $1,250 scholarship. Only one New Century Workforce Scholar is selected for each state, and Christian Bourne is that student for this year. So congratulations to Kristen. All right, let's see. I believe that wraps up our college update. I would also like, if I can, to turn our attention a bit to the work that is going on at our colleges in preparation for the start of the fall semester. We have had multiple discussions with our college leadership. As all of you know, the discussions on college campuses as well as K-12 school districts are evolving daily. Our colleges have put in place the mask mandate as directed by the governor, but we have also done a number of other things that put those processes in place, spacing, social distancing. We continue to have the sanitation efforts. One example down at Nunez Community College doing an air purification effort that I think will have just tremendous benefits, both to the college as well as to students, faculty and staff, maintaining safety there. There has been much discussion around the notion of a vaccine mandate, and I will share with you that at this point, there is no vaccine mandate at our two-year colleges in Louisiana. Instead, what we are doing at this point is we are awaiting approval of those vaccinations by the FDA. At that time, we will make a request of the Louisiana Department of Health to add the vaccines as a mandatory vaccination as a part of our normal processes. The universities out there that are experiencing move-in this week as a result of being residential, a much more concerning set of circumstances or environment. We will continue to monitor the FDA approvals. We are watching that almost on a daily basis now. So certainly know that our chancellors are working daily, our faculty and staff are working daily to ensure the safety and security of each of our students, faculty, and staff. I'll pause there and ask if there are any questions. All right, here none, let's turn to the board development section. So all of you are aware of the work that we did together beginning back in 2014. We put together a 6-year plan that focused on a guarantee to the state of Louisiana of some things that we believed were needed for the people of this state and for the business community. That plan was called Our Louisiana 2020. June 30 of 2020, we wrapped up that plan. And since then, we have been working closely with a group of folks within this system to create the next version of that strategic plan. As you know, it not only is important that we have solid goals that clearly are stretch goals, but also to align those to make sure that everyone understands this is what the board says is priority. And so if you look back on that 2020 effort, we learned a lot from that work. Renee Cintron has led the staffing of this group, and I want to turn it over to Renee to talk a bit about where we're headed with that next strategic plan. So Renee, I'll turn to you.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. Good morning, members of the board. You already spoke a little bit about the past goal, and a lot of work went into getting to meet 4 really out of the 6 goals, but we learned a great deal as we maintain our enrollment levels and increase graduates from 19,000 to 34,000 a year. So a lot of things have happened over the course of those 6 years during our Louisiana 2020. And the results can be found on our website, lctcs.edu. With this work that has occurred, we learned many lessons as Dr. Sullivan alluded to, especially dealing with some data challenges, making our definitions, ensuring that we have our processes in place, collecting, disseminating information. All of those things we'll learn through as we move forward in focusing on 6 statewide, system-wide goals that in many instances influence the way that others thought of our system and the way that we do things. For example, the definition of credential value is one that has been adopted here in the state, and it's one that's being adopted nationally. So there's a lot of things that we've learned along the way. One of those was to have a broader involvement as we develop our next set of goals. With that, we put together a diverse group of individuals from different levels of their organizations at our colleges and met over the course of last year to discuss what commitment can we as a system, as colleges, can make to the people of Louisiana during our next strategic direction. Of course, our focus on equity and inclusion was at the heart of the conversations every time we met. The group initially made about 30 or so recommendations of items to focus on. These have since been collapsed into, or grouped rather, into themes. One of those themes is maximizing student access and success. Some of the items underneath that are diversity and inclusion, student earnings, completion, enhanced enrollment, and so on. The other theme that was created was enhancing community connectivity. That involves the number of training hours provided, the business and industry partners that we had in our last set of goals. We are continuing to have these conversations as we look to what is it that we're going to promise the people of the state that we're going to provide as a benefit, as an impact. So some of the next steps, we'll continue to narrow these down to create that promise that we'll make to our folks, our residents and people that we live with in and every day, that we can make as a system of colleges. And the target that we're looking for here is to make a final recommendations to this board during the strategic planning session and request final approval during the December board meeting at the end of this year. So that's what we're working towards, and that's the timeline. Again, we're involving a group of people to help guide this conversation as we move forward and narrow down into those items that we can say to the people of the state, this is what we commit to doing.
All right, thank you, Renee. Any questions from the board members? Certainly look forward to engaging with you over the weeks ahead to identify that next plan. I'm reminded that the plan, Our Louisiana 2020, was hatched by at the time, 13 college chancellors, myself, and the chair of the board, who was at the time Woody Ogier. That plan served us very well across those 6 years. But today is a very different day in the state of Louisiana than in 2014. And our plan needs to be reflective of where we are as a state. Very much appreciate all of the work that has gone in from the group of people that have been working on this plan. And certainly, Dr. Cintron, thank you for your leadership with this work, and look forward to our conversations in both October and December as we focus in on that next strategic plan for the state of Louisiana. All right, with that, Mr. Chairman, that concludes the board development section and the president's report. I will turn back to you for general action items.
Right. That was a good report all around. Good job there, Dr. Sullivan. As a point of chair's privilege, I would like to ask that the items I-1 through I-8 be reviewed in succession and taken up as one vote for all those items once the review concludes. Is there any objection? I hear none, so we will now present the first one, general action items, committee of whole action items for consideration. Dr. Sullivan.
Sure. Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, I'm glad to provide that recommendation. These are items that were taken up as a part of the executive committee meeting that took place July 7th of 2021. Recommendation reads, staff recommends that the board ratify the actions taken during the July 7, 2021 meeting of the LCTCS Board Executive Committee.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? We'll move on to the next item, I-2. Supervisor Jackson, would you please present the facilities action items for consideration?
Be glad to, Mr. Chairman. I think we only have one item, capital outlay request for fiscal year 2022 to 2023. I'll just read the recommendation. Staff recommends that the board approve the 2022-2023 capital outlay list of recommended projects.
Okay. Monty, anything on that?
I don't see Mr. Marine, so how about I'll take the recommendation. Staff recommends that the board approve the 2022-23 capital outlay list of recommended projects.
There's Joe. Okay. All right, any questions? If none, we'll move on to item I3, for finance action item. Supervisor Saleh.
Yeah, I see Joe's there, so good. We'll have some responses here. Good morning. Okay, the Finance Committee. The first item is the social service contract between Delgado Community College and Caption Specialist Services LLC. Joe?
Yes, sir. Good morning. I'm sorry, I had a little bit of a hard time getting on the boat. Now that I'm here, before you is a social services contract for Delgado for card caption specialty services. They provide interpretive services for those disabled students who come into the college at Delgado, and by federal law, we're required to provide these services. I'll note that the contract has a maximum fee of $200,000, although when I inquired with the college what their actual burn rate for fiscal year 21, they only expended about $108,000. So that may be due to a lower number of students on campus, but again, they ask for this amount to just have that headroom in the event that they do need it. So as such, staff recommends that the board approve a social services contract between Delgado Community College and Card Captioning Specialty Services LLC, effective July 1, 2021 through June 30th of 2022. This contract is subject to the approval of the Office of State Procurement.
Okay, you want to move on to the next item, Chairman?
Yeah.
Okay, the foundation recommends to or on the benefit of employees. Joe?
Yeah, point enough. You want to take this one under your purview in the foundation?
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Thank you so much. Supervisors, the next 4 items actually all deal with our college foundations as well as the Lctcs foundation here at the board office. And so just to give a little context, we're bringing these items to the board so that we can have some consistency across the foundations as well as our board, as well as the board foundation, and to also make sure that we're all moving in lockstep as we work to fulfill the mission of the colleges as well as the mission of our foundation. So hopefully that's a little context. The first item. The first item is recommended as staff recommends that the board approve foundation reimbursements presented as required by board policy 5.029 in support of system and college endeavors and board policy 5.017 policy on foundations.
The next item is the approval of the Lctcs College and System Foundations Articles of Incorporation.
Thank you, Supervisor. Staff recommends that the board approve the Lctcs College and System Foundations Articles of Incorporation for the following Lctcs colleges and system foundation: the Baton Rouge Community College Foundation, Inc., Bossier Parish Community College Foundation, Inc., Delgado Community College Foundation, Fletcher Technical Community College Foundation, Inc., Louisiana Delta Community College Foundation, North Shore College Enhancement Foundation, the Elaine P. Nunez Community College Foundation, Inc., River Parishes Community College Foundation, Inc., SLCC Foundation, Sewella Technical Community College Foundation, and the Lctcs Foundation.
Follow item, approve of common CEAs and an Lctcs Board of Supervisors, Lctcs colleges, and Lctcs college foundations.
Thank you, Supervisor. Staff recommends that the board approve a cooperative endeavor agreement and joint operating agreements between the Louisiana Community College and Technical System and Baton Rouge Community College and the Baton Rouge Community College Foundation, Inc., Bossier Parish Community College and the BPCC Foundation, Inc., Delgado Community College and the Delgado Community College Foundation, Fletcher Technical Community College and the Fletcher Technical Community College Foundation, Inc., Louisiana Delta Community College and the Louisiana Delta Community College Foundation, North Shore Technical Community College and the North Shore College Enhancement Foundation, Elaine P. Nunez Community College and the Elaine P. Nunez Community College Foundation, Inc., River Parishes Community College and the River Parishes Community College Foundation, Inc., South Louisiana Community College and the SLCC Foundation, Sewella Technical Community College and the Sewella Technical Community College Foundation, and the Lctcs Foundation, and further authorizes System President Dr. Monty Sullivan in conjunction with the advice and counsel of the respective college chancellors to make any necessary edits prior to submission to the foundation boards for signature.
Thank you. And the final item is to approve of LCTCS's College and System Foundation bylaws.
Thank you, Supervisor. Staff recommends that the board approve the LCTCS College and System Foundations bylaws for the following LCTCS colleges and system foundations: the Baton Rouge Community College Foundation, Inc., BPCC Foundation, Inc., Delgado Community College Foundation, Fletcher Technical Community College Foundation, Inc., Louisiana Delta Community College Foundation, North Shore College Enhancement Foundation, Elaine P. Nunez Community College Foundation, Inc., River Parishes Community College Foundation, Inc., SLCC Foundation, Sewella Technical Community College Foundation, and the LCTCS Foundation.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, but before we move, before we have a conversation about the action related to these items, let me give a little bit of context, perhaps historical. I think all of you are aware that we had colleges that were formed upon the development of the LCTCS Board of Supervisors in 98, 99. We then had colleges that were added across time as late as the current developments at Northwest Louisiana Technical Community College, as well as Central Louisiana Technical Community College. And so those colleges, as they were stood up, developed their own foundations. And as they developed those foundations, the relationship between our Board of Supervisors, which is the authority for each of these colleges, and that relationship back to the foundation, there must be a formal cooperative endeavor agreement with each one of those foundations. While we have had a cooperative endeavor agreement in place for those colleges, there have been many changes across time. We felt like it was important to establish a single baseline in a single board meeting where we identified everything from the cooperative endeavor agreement language to the bylaws and to manage the reimbursements above a certain threshold level. This meeting represents drawing that line in the sand and saying, going forward, we know that all of these things have been done and have been done in a way that is consistent across those 12 colleges. So that's the reason for the 3 separate items. That is the reason for including all of these items in one action. Just as one example, the cooperative endeavor agreement in place with Delgado Community College has been in place for a number of years, but we felt like it was important that we could demonstrate all of these foundations are being treated equally and exactly the same across time. So Quentin, anything to add to that context? Is that accurate?
No, you captured it, Dr. Sullivan.
Okay. Very good. So with that, I'll turn back to you, Mr. Chairman. I think for action on those each of those items.
Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. Appreciate the context with all that. Is there another question from somebody or comment? Okay, Supervisor Hardy, Tim Hardy, would you present the personnel action item for consideration?
Hold on, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Hey, this is Stevie. I don't know if there's a way to, this hard way to just interrupt the conversation remotely. So, so I guess the 2 questions, right? Again, is all these foundations are set up specifically to benefit individual colleges. None of them are really, well, except for the LCTCS one, it's set up for the system, but all of them are still set up, frankly, as a direct relationship to an individual institution, right? Everybody?
Right. That's correct.
Yes.
I mean, and so look, just a basic question is that's not going to change, I guess, right, Dr. Sullivan?
No, sir. No, that the relationship between college and college foundation does not change. The key here is from a legal perspective, the contracting entity for those colleges is the Board of Supervisors. And so that cooperative endeavor agreement needs to be approved by the board. And in addition to that, the board has a policy, as you've seen outlined here, that requires approval of the bylaws of each of those foundations, approval of the relationship between the colleges and the college foundations. I'll give you an example that is not a Louisiana example, but in the foundation world, there are a number of colleges out there that have multiple foundations that support different aspects of the colleges. We have tried our best to maintain a single foundation by college so that we're not competing for interest within the communities. For instance, many out there have an equivalent of, say, the Tiger Athletic Foundation. where you're attempting to raise money within a community for athletic programs that then competes with academic or scholarship related items. And so what we wanted to be clear on is that cooperative endeavor agreement is approved by the Board of Supervisors and sends a very direct message that the relationship between the college and the foundation is governed by this Board of Supervisors.
Well, I certainly concur with that. I believe an example that's often floated about is something at the University of Georgia. It seems like I've heard about that over the years as an issue, or was an issue there. So that's certainly encourage that. But we do have something as these foundations have been stood up over time. And like you said, there's a couple of them that have been around for quite some time. Delgado probably being the best example. Most of the rest of them are somewhat more recent. And I think we've had a hand, I say we, I'm talking about the system offices had a hand in standing those up and ensuring some consistency. But that real question was making sure that the relationship is still directly with the college itself and the foundation. Are we going to have to bring this to these foundations and get them to approve it as well? I guess we're going to have to bring something to each one of these foundations.
Right. And once the board approves the cooperative endeavor language, our intent is then to go directly to those foundations, pursue their signature. I think at this point, the common language has been helpful to take elements of each one of those cooperative endeavor agreements and begin to look across the stack to make sure that we have the appropriate language in each instance. So we do anticipate having to have those signatures over the weeks ahead.
Okay. Okay. Well, I have the floor, Mr. Chairman. I see. Well, we didn't get to that recommendation yet. I'm sorry. It's later in the agenda. I apologize. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Supervisor Hardy.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. I'd be honored. We have one item under personnel. Extension appointment of interim chancellor for River Parishes Community College. Dr. Sullivan, you going to take that recommendation?
Sure. I'll read the recommendation. Then I know a couple of you had asked for an update on where we are with the River Parishes Community College Chancellor search. And so once we dispense with the item itself, I'll provide you with that update. As recommendation reads, staff recommends the board extend the interim chancellor appointment of Dr. Jim Carlson for River Parishes Community College effective July 1, 2021 through January 1, 2022, or until a suitable chancellor is recruited. Dr. Carlson's compensation and benefits will continue as previously established at the beginning of the previous interim appointment. As a bit of context here, when Dr. Carlson was installed as the interim leader at River Parishes Community College, this board took action. We typically have language in the action that says, or until a suitable candidate, much like the language you just saw in that recommendation, is appointed. We did not have that language this time. It expired June 30 of 2021. At oversight, I'll take full responsibility for that one. And so we're here to extend that time frame to give us an opportunity to conduct a search. In terms of the time frame of the search, as you are aware, we have begun that process. There's an advertisement that is being circulated out there nationally. We have engaged the Association of Community College Trustees in a national search effort. As you guys are aware, we have worked with them in the past and have done so very successfully. They are recruiting for this position from every corner of this country. River Parishes Community College will certainly draw a wide array of applicants, and we look forward to that search process. We will likely be announcing the search committee in the October timeframe, September, October. The closing date of the applicants is the middle of September. Look forward to bringing forward to this board in the December meeting a recommendation for the next permanent leader of River Parishes Community College. So any questions on the search timeline or process or the item as recommended?
Let's do we need to get a motion first?
Actually, I think because we are combining items I-1 through I-8, I think what we'll need to do is a single motion, but I just wanted to make sure everyone understood the context of that this last item.
Sure.
Okay.
Hearing no questions, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hardy. Appreciate that. At this point, I would recommend that the board approve agenda items I-1 through I-8 as presented.
I move.
I second.
A motion by Mr. Salath and a second by Ms. Carter. And we will have to do a roll call vote for this motion. Are there any additional questions that any of the board members have on any of the items I-1 through I-8? If none, then we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote for approval of items I-1 through I-8. Supervisor Price?
Yes.
Supervisor Mount?
Yes.
Supervisor Jackson?
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford?
Yes.
Supervisor Carter?
Yes.
Supervisor Hardy?
Yes.
Supervisor McConduit?
Yes.
Supervisor Murphy?
Yes.
Supervisor Peterson?
Yes.
Supervisor Salath?
Yes.
Supervisor Smith?
Yes.
Supervisor Spawn?
Yes.
Supervisor Almeida?
Yes.
Supervisor Kuvion?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, we do have a unanimous vote in favor of this motion.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to present the consent agenda items for consideration by the board. Dr. I don't know who's handling that.
Sure, I can handle that one, Mr. Chairman. Staff recommends that the board approve the consent agenda, which consists of agenda items J1 through J3, dealing with programmatic items from Bossier Parish Community College, North Shore Technical Community College, and River Parishes Community College.
You know, heard the recommendations. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jackson, second by Ms. Bradford. Are there any questions? We'll do a roll call vote. Supervisor Price?
Yes.
Supervisor Mount?
Yes.
Supervisor Jackson?
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford?
Yes.
Supervisor Carter?
Yes.
Supervisor Hardy?
Yes.
Supervisor McConduit?
Yes.
Supervisor Murphy? Ms. I think you're frozen. Supervisor Peterson?
Yes.
Supervisor Salath?
Yes.
Supervisor Smith?
Yes.
Supervisor Spawn?
Yes.
Supervisor Almeida?
Yes.
Supervisor Kuvion?
Yes.
Supervisor Murphy, are you in agreement with that motion?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, that motion carries.
Very good. Knew that it would. At this point, I'd like to remind everyone of the updates that you were provided. And I would encourage you to review the information provided in those updates. Is there any additional business come before the board?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We do have before the board the 2022 Lctcs board meeting schedule that was presented. And I would like to recommend that the board approve the 2022 board meeting schedule as presented. Meetings are scheduled the second Wednesday of the month, with no regular meetings held in January, March, May, July, September, or November, unless otherwise notified. Meeting dates designated in March and in May will be confirmed during the February and April meetings.
Okay.
Is there a
recommendation? Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Bradford. And a second?
Second.
McConduit, thank you so much. We'll do a roll call vote, and I believe this might be your last one. Supervisor Price?
Yes.
Supervisor Mount?
Yes.
Supervisor Jackson?
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford?
Yes.
Supervisor Carter?
Yes.
Supervisor Hardy?
Yes.
Supervisor McConduit?
Yes.
Supervisor Murphy?
Yes.
Supervisor Peterson?
Yes.
Supervisor Salat?
Yes.
Supervisor Smith?
Yes.
Supervisor Spawn?
Yes.
Supervisor Almeida?
Yes.
And Supervisor Kuvion?
Yes.
That motion is carried favorably.
All righty. Are there any other announcements to come before the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to note for the record that our October meeting date has changed. That was sent out to everyone about 6 weeks ago. But if you would note on your record that the October meeting will be held on October 20th. We will do a virtual meeting. And also on October 19th, we will have our annual board development day, and we will conduct that virtually at this time. So please note on your calendar, you should have calendar invitations for both of those days, but October 19th and 20th. And the reason for the move in the dates is that a majority of our staff and I believe 4 of our board members will be traveling to the ACCT conference if we are allowed to do that. To participate in that annual Congress event.
All righty. Anything else? Sarah, will we have any comments from the public that you know of?
We have no comments from the public. There were no comments on the YouTube stream neither. We have no comments anywhere at this time.
Okay, very good. Well, at this point, I would just like to urge everyone to stay safe and to stay well. It's weird times we're all living in. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mount and a second by Ms. Bradford.
Right, hour and 10 minutes, not bad.
So I'd like to note that our meeting is adjourned.